Hello and welcome to another part of this chapter graph theory. In this part we shall discuss about subgraph. So first let us define subgraph. This is the definition of subgraph. A graph G1 V1 is said to be a subgraph of the graph G if V1 is a subset of V and E1 is a subset of E. For the graph G, V be the set of vertices and E be the set of edges, and for the graph G1, V1 be the set of vertices and E1 be the set of edges. So this graph G1 is said to be a subgraph of this graph G if the set of vertices of G1 is a subset of the set of vertices of G, and also the set of edges of G1 is the subset of the set of edges of G. If these two conditions are satisfied, then the graph G1 is called a subset of the graph G. Now we give one example. If we consider this graph G, the graph has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 number of edges. Now if we consider this graph G dash, then this graph G dash has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. So this fifth vertex is missing, and also these two edges are missing. So the set of vertices of G dash is a subset of the set of vertices of G, and also the set of edges of G dash is a subset of the set of edges of G. So G dash is called a subgraph of the graph G. Now as here we have defined that a graph G1 is called a subgraph of G if V1 is a subset of V and E1 is a subset of E. Now since the equal sign is given here, so we can state that any graph is a subgraph of itself. Another conclusion is that the null graph or the graph containing only one vertex is a subgraph of any graph. Now a subgraph can be obtained from a graph by different ways. We can delete one vertex from a graph to obtain a subgraph, or one can delete one or more edges from a graph to obtain a subgraph. So there are different ways to obtain a subgraph. We give some examples here. The first one is the vertex deleted subgraph. A subgraph which is obtained by deleting one or more vertices of the graph G is called vertex deleted subgraph. As for example, if we consider this graph G dash, now we have obtained this graph G dash by deleting one vertex from the graph G. Now if this vertex is deleted, then automatically these two edges will be deleted. So this type of subgraph is called vertex deleted subgraph. So a subgraph which is obtained by deleting one or more vertices from a graph G is called vertex deleted subgraph. Next one is edge deleted subgraph. A subgraph which is obtained by deleting one or more edges from a graph G is called edge deleted subgraph. Now as for example, if we consider this graph G and this graph G1, then this graph G1 has been obtained from this graph G by deleting only two edges, namely this edge and this edge. So if we delete these two edges, then we get this subgraph G1. So this type of subgraph is called edge deleted subgraph. Now remember that in edge deleted subgraph, we do not delete any vertex, but we may delete some edges. Now here the number of vertices are the same, but we have deleted only two edges from this graph G to obtain this subgraph G1. This type of subgraph is called edge deleted subgraph. Next one is spanning subgraph. This is the definition of spanning subgraph. A subgraph G1 is said to be a spanning subgraph of a graph G if V1 is equal to V and E1 is a subset of E. That means a graph, actually a subgraph G1 is called a spanning subgraph of a graph G if the set of vertices in the two graphs are same. In a spanning subgraph, the number of vertices should be same, but the number of edges may be less than that of G. Now, as for example, if we consider these two graphs, then for this graph G and this graph G1, the number of vertices are the same. But the only difference is that G1 contains two less number of edges than that of G. So this G1 is called a spanning subgraph of this graph G. But this graph G dash is not a spanning subgraph of this graph G, because this graph contains 5 vertices but this graph contains only 4 vertices. So this G dash is not a spanning subgraph of this graph G, but this G1 is a spanning subgraph of this graph G. Now, by the definition, any graph is a spanning subgraph of itself. Now, another type of subgraph can be obtained from a graph by deleting all the loops and parallel edges from a graph. This type of subgraph is called simple subgraph. Next, we define complement of a graph. A graph G bar is called complement of a graph G if it satisfies two conditions. The first condition is two vertices of G bar are connected by an edge if the vertices are not connected in G. This is the first condition. And the second condition is the two vertices are not connected in G bar if these are connected in G. So a graph G bar is called complement of a graph G if we take any two vertices of G, then if the vertices are not connected by an edge in G, then these two vertices must be connected by an edge in G bar. And conversely, if any two vertices of G are connected by an edge, then these two vertices must not be connected by an edge in G bar. So let us give one example. From the definition, it is clear that two graphs G and its complement G bar contain same number of vertices, but these may contain different number of edges. Now, as for example, if we consider this graph G, this graph contains 5 vertices and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number of edges. So if we want to find the complement of this graph G, then we first draw the vertices. So first we draw all the vertices, all the 5 number of vertices, and then we shall draw the edges. Now the rule is, if any two vertices of G are connected by an edge, then in G bar these two vertices must not be connected. So in G bar these two vertices are not connected because these two are connected in G. Similarly, these two vertices are not connected, these two vertices are not connected, again these two vertices are not connected, and finally these two vertices and these two vertices are not connected. And we connect any two vertices of G bar if these two vertices are not connected in G. Now here we find that these two vertices are not connected, so we connect these two vertices by an edge. Similarly, these two vertices are not connected in G, so we connect these two vertices in G. And finally, these two vertices and these two vertices are not connected in G, so we connect these two vertices and these two vertices by edges. So thus we have computed G bar. Again, if we compute complement of this graph G bar, then automatically we shall get this graph G. So complement of a graph is its graph G itself. So if we take complement of this graph G bar, then we get G. Another interesting thing is that we know that a complete graph with 5 vertices has 5 into 5 minus 1 by 2. That means 10 number of edges. Now for any graph G with 5 vertices, if we add number of edges in G and number of edges in G bar, then we shall get 10. Now here we have 6 number of edges in G and here we have 4 number of edges in G bar. So if we add these two numbers, then we get 10, which is the number of edges in a complete graph with 5 number of vertices. So this is complement of a graph. Next we define isomorphic graph. Two graphs G and G1, these are called isomorphic to each other if for any vertex in G we get exactly one vertex in G1. Number 2, for any edge in G we get exactly one edge in G1. And number 3, incidence relationship between vertices and edges are preserved on both G and G1. So two graphs G and G1, these are called isomorphic if there exists a one-to-one relationship between the vertices of G and G1, and also there exists one-to-one relationship between the edges of G and the edges of G1, and also the incidence relationship between the vertices and edges are preserved on both G and G1. That means if any edge is incident to a vertex in G, then there must exist one edge and one vertex in G bar such that that edge is incident to that vertex in G bar. Now in simple language, two graphs G and G1 are isomorphic, then these must satisfy some conditions. The first condition is the two graphs must have same number of vertices, the two graphs must have same number of edges, and lastly, if we want to check the incidence relationship between the vertices and edges, that means we have to check the degrees of the vertices in G and G1. That means if we find one vertex having degree 3 in the graph G, then in G1 there must exist one vertex with degree 3. If we find one vertex having degree 5 in the graph G, then in G1 also there must exist one vertex having degree 5. If we find one pendant vertex in G, then we must have one pendant vertex in G1. If all these conditions are satisfied, then the graphs are called isomorphic. Now we give one example. If we consider this graph G, this graph has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of edges. And also we consider one more graph G1. This graph has also 1, 2, 3, 4 number of vertices and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of edges. Now let us check whether these two graphs are isomorphic or not. For that we need two graphs must have same number of vertices and same number of edges. So this condition is satisfied. Now the next condition is the incidence relationship between the vertices and the edges must be preserved in both G and G1. That means in simple language, for any vertex in G we must have one vertex in G1 with the same degree. Now here we find that V1 has degree 3 because 3 edges are incident to V1. So V1 has degree 3. So in G1 there must have one vertex having degree 3. So here we assume that this vertex is V1 because it has degree 3. Now in G there is one more vertex V3 with degree 3. So we can assume that this vertex is V3 because it has degree 3. Next we have two more vertices which are V2 and V4. Before that, in G the edge which connects V1 and V3 is denoted by E3. So this edge must be denoted by E3. Next, since only two vertices are remaining, so suppose we denote it by V2 and we denote it by V4. Now in G, V1 and V2 are connected by E1. Now in G1, we name this edge as E1. Again, V1 and V4 are connected by E2 in G. So V1 and V4 are connected by E2. So this is E2. Now V2 and V3 are connected by E4. So it is E4. And finally, this must be E5, which is between V4 and V3. So V4 and V3 are connected by E5. So thus we have obtained that for these two graphs, the incidence relationship between the vertices and edges are preserved. That means for any vertex in G, we have one vertex in G1 having the same degree. These two graphs are isomorphic to each other because for any vertex in G, we have exactly one vertex in G1. For any edge in G, we have exactly one edge in G1, and also the incidence relationship between the vertices and edges are preserved. Next, we consider one more example. Suppose this is the graph G and this is the graph G1. Let us check whether these two graphs are isomorphic or not. For that, we find that the graph G contains 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices and 3 edges, and the graph G1 contains 4 vertices and 3 edges. So the first condition is satisfied. Next, let us check whether the incidence relationship between the vertices and the edges are preserved or not. Now if we find the degrees of the vertices of G, then we find that the degrees are 1, 2, 2, 1. Now for the graph G1, we find that the degrees of the vertices are 1, 1, 1 and 3. So in G1, there is one vertex having degree 3. But in the graph G, there is no vertex having the degree 3. From here, we state that the incidence relationship between the vertices and the edges are not preserved in G and G dash because there are 3 edges which are incident to G1, but there is no vertex in G where 3 edges are incident to that vertex. From here, we conclude that these two graphs are not isomorphic. So in this part, we have learned about subgraph, complement of a graph and isomorphic graph. So that concludes this part. So see you in the next part. Until then, thanks for watching.